Hello guys, welcome back to Ceefashion Academy. Today I'll be showing you guys how to sew a shawl collar jacket. So please make sure you watch the part 1, which is how to cut a shawl collar jacket. Go out there, check it out. I'll also put it in the description link. May God bless you. Give us a thumbs up if you love this video. Thank you and may God bless you.
Okay guys, as you can see, we'll be adding ½ inch on all sides while cutting it on the fabric. So this is how we do it. As you can see, I've added my ½ inch on this side, so I'm still going to do the same thing here. Please, here is optional because I've already added my allowance. So if you want, you can add. If you want, you also choose not to do add. But for the sake of this tutorial, let me add. Yes. So that's what you are going to do. Use this method to cut both the front and the back. Okay guys, so there's something I really want to explain to us here. Now, as you can see, I've already cut out this part, but I'm trying to do what? Cut it out again. This is to tell you that, while cutting the lining, this center part, are you seeing it? The center front part, at this particular part, you shouldn't cut with the lining, because let's say this is your jacket. When you turn it like this, if you use lining is going to do what? Show. You understand? So that's why we make use of any material that we want it to do what? Show. So for the sake of this particular tutorial, I'll still be making use of the same material. So that is why I'm cutting this one out into what? 2. Okay guys, as you can see, next thing we are going to do is to couple it out. So as you can see, this one is the right part, the right side, and this one is the left side. So we are going to do what? Couple out the dart. We are going to do that on the left side, and we're also going to do it on the right side. So we start coupling it from the down part, as you can see. So guys, as you can see, I'm done sewing out this very particular part. So the next thing I'm going to do after I finish joining other ones is to do what? Take it to the ironing table. As you can see, when I take it to the ironing table, then I open up here and iron. So guys, as I'll be sewing the other side, like I said, you do exactly the same thing on all the sides. You understand? You do exactly the same thing on all the sides, even at the back parts. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm done joining the darts. As you can see, I'm actually done joining the darts. Okay, so I'm using different materials to make one jacket. As you can see, this one, I'm done joining the darts. So there's something I really want to show us. This one is the lining, and you see the lining to the front part. As you can see the lining, but if you notice that I used material here. Now the reason why I use the material is because, now look at it very well. Assuming you cut out this particular part with a lining, when your jacket is going to be folded like this, do you see it? The lining will be showing. So that's why I did not use the lining. Rather, I use whatever. See, you should always use whatever you want to show on this particular part whenever you do what? You fold it. So as you can see, this is how to do it. Okay, so you can also see the back. I'm done coupling the back. As you can see, I'm done coupling the back. So next thing I'm going to do now, first of all, is to do what? I'm going to put my wart pocket. Okay guys, so next thing we need to do is to do what? Impute the wart pocket. So in order to impute the wart pocket, I would like to tell you that wart pocket is usually around the waistline area. But for the sake of this particular tutorial, as you can see, my waistline is 17 inches. This is my waistline, but I'll be going down with what? Extra 1 inch, making it what? 18 inches. So that is the length of the wart pocket for this particular class. Okay, so next thing we are going to do is what? Is I want you guys to notice something. When we are cutting this, there was a straight line here. That is where we started all our measurement. As you can see, there was a straight line towards this very side. So from that particular straight line, what I'm trying to say is that my overlapping allowance was what? 1 inch. So as you can see, just trace it out from that overlapping allowance. As you can see, measure what? From 2 inches to 3 inches, depending on the size of the person. But for the sake of this particular tutorial, I'll be using what? 2.5, as you can see. So this means this is the starting point of our pocket. So from this particular point, as you can see, from this particular point, next thing we'll be doing is what? We'll be making sure we impute the width of the wet pocket, which is usually what? 5 inches. So from here to here, you mark out what? 5 inches. So as you can see, we have from here to here, which is our what? Wet pocket. So next thing we are going to do now is to do what? Since we've gotten this very particular point, so next thing you need to do is to do what? Find a way to also duplicate it over to this particular side. As you can see, okay, so now as you can see, I've actually duplicated it. So next thing I'm going to do is to do what? Properly do what? Construct the wet pockets. Okay guys, as you can see, this is the pieces of material we're using for our wet pocket. So I'm going to do this thing in the simplest form. As you can see, the width of the pieces is what? 7 inches, while the length is what? 10 inches folded. As you can see, what I mean by 10 inches folded is when you take your tape and measure, you will get what? 10 inches. When you take and measure, you get what? 10 inches. As you can see, these are 2, this is 2, just because of the what? The 2 sides of the jacket. Okay, like I said, the width is what? 7 inches. Okay, so next thing we need to do is to do what? This is actually the center. So next thing we need to do is to do what? We need to open it up and also do what? Open this particular place up. So after you finish opening it up, next thing you need to do is to what? Take your what? Interfacing. This, you can use any type of interfacing, doesn't really matter. You can use your light color gum, you can use your what? Your hard gum stay, or you can use your what? Soft gum stay. Okay, whichever one you have, that's what you will use. So the essence of this is to make this particular material stable and okay for the what? Wet pocket. Okay guys, next thing you need to do is to do what? Iron it out. Okay guys, after you are done gumming it out, as you can see, this is the middle part. So next thing we need to do is to do what? We need to divide it into 2. Okay, after you are finished dividing, after you are done dividing it into 2, also make sure you do what? Look at this particular one. The total here is what? 5 inches. Also make sure you divide it into 2 to get the what? The middle part. Are you seeing it? Okay. So also make sure you get the middle part of this one by doing what? Using iron to do what? Iron it out so that you can get the middle part. So next thing you are going to do is to do what? Place it like this. Are you seeing it? Middle to middle. Also, please make sure you mark out this particular part, showing where it started and where it ended here. Also do the same thing here, middle to middle. So after you are done doing this, next thing you need to do is to do what? Take your pin, office pin, and do what? Pin it out so that it will not shake while you are sewing it. Make sure you carefully pin it out. Okay guys, after you are done pinning it out, next thing you need to do is to do what? Take your pen and take your rule. As you can see, now make sure you mark out 1/4 inch here. I mean from the center to this particular part, mark out what? 1/4 inch. Mark out 1/4. As you can see, from here to here is what? 1/4 inch. Next you are going to do is to do what? On the other side, also make sure you mark out what? 1/4 inch. That means in total what we'll be having is what? 1/2 inch wet pocket. So you can see I'm done marking it out. So next you need to do is to do what? Take your pen and do what? Carefully mark out this particular point. So in this case, we are going to sew from here. Are you seeing it? You're going to tack it. So from here, make sure you back stitch in order for the stitching to be what? Thin. So from here down to this side. Also make sure you do what? Back stitch on this side. Do the same thing here. So from here down to this very part. This is the same thing you do on the other part. Okay guys, what we are going to do is as you can see the 2 stitch here, we are going to open up the center so as to give us access to do what? Cut. So next thing we are going to be doing is what we are going to be cutting with our scissors. As you can see, the moment you are about to reach at this very particular point, next thing you are going to do, you are going to slant your cutting. As you can see, make sure you cut to this particular point. As you can see, please don't make sure you don't overcut. Do you understand? And make sure you reach at the particular point which you are supposed to reach. Now look at it, cut. As you can see, carefully did this, please. This part is very, very important. You can see, let me turn the back. Now look at it. See where the stitch ended. Are you seeing it? Now see where my cutting actually ended. This same point. Are you seeing it? You don't overcut it. Like, you don't exceed this particular point where this stitch is stopping. Are you seeing it? So this is the same thing you do on the other side. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm done opening it. So next thing we need to do is to do what? Please, like this, make sure you put it inside. So you can see, carefully do it so as not to expand the place it actually cut. Don't expand it. So carefully put it inside. Make sure it relaxes. Carefully do that, this one also. So you can see. Okay. So at the end of the day, look at this. At the end of the day, the shape is already coming out, but not just like that. Okay. So next thing we are going to do is to do what? See, look at it. So you can see here has opening. So we are going to make sure that that particular down part, are you seeing it? You fold it to the what? As you can see, look at it now. Fold this thing so that it will equal this particular opening. Are you seeing it? Okay, make sure it equals the opening. Now, as you can see, this side is now okay. So next thing I need to do on this side, first of all, is to do what? Take my iron and do what? Iron it out. Why I'm doing this is so as not to do what? So as for it not to do what? Displace, like for it not to shake. As you can see, here is now okay. So do the same thing here. Make sure you push it out. So as you guys can see, I'm done ironing out this particular side. Okay, now we are not done. Next thing we need to do, first of all, is to do what? Look at it. Open up this particular part. There are many ways which you can do what? Lock it. But to tell you guys the truth, I've actually invented a new way of locking it. Now, the new way of locking it is by what? Taking your what? Gum stay. No, taking your what? Hemming gum. And make sure you double it out like this, as you can see. Then close it back. Make sure you do it carefully. Okay, after you are done closing it, next thing you need to do is to do what? Take your material and do what? Close your fabric, so as for the iron not to burn your clothes or to dirty your clothes. Now make sure you do what? Iron it out very, very well. This is another way of locking it, which hardly it will do what? Remove. There is also another way of locking it by doing what? Sewing it. You understand? So whichever one you choose to do, no problem, you can as well do that. Okay guys, as you can see, this is the wet pocket. So the final thing I'm actually going to do on this particular one is what? Now look at it very well. Let me show us the final thing I'm be doing on this particular one. Okay. Now I want to show us something. We are going to take it to our what? Sewing machine, and we'll be sewing on this particular point. Are you seeing it? We'll take it to the sewing machine. We'll sew it at this particular point. Doing this here is doing what? We are locking it. Are you seeing it? So here, make sure you back stitch several times. Okay. Also do the same thing here. See, look at also this one. You also do the same thing. Now look at it. Just like a triangle coming out, you also lock it from here. Are you seeing it? Make sure you don't come very close to this particular material. Just make sure you do what? Carefully lock it. So we are still going to do the same thing on the other side of the jacket. Okay guys, like I said, as you can see, look at what we are going to lock here. The moment you lock this, that means the particular wet pocket is secure at this very point. We also did the same thing on this very side. Okay, make sure you place it very well, then you lock. see, we are done locking it. As you can see, now look at this very part. Are you seeing it? Here is now very secure. So we are also going to do the same thing here. Okay. Now look at it. Open it up this way. You will see this triangular shape here. Are you seeing it? So that is actually what you are going to do. That is what you are going to lock. And make sure you expand it very well. Place it very well. Okay. Then you do what? You lock. Okay guys, as you can see, we are done locking at this very part also. So this one is ready. So I'm still going to do the same thing on the other parts. Okay guys, as you can see, we are done locking up the wet on its own, the wet pocket. Now it's time to do unlock the pocket. As you can see, the pocket is still open. So when I put in something here, it's going to fall out. Do you understand? So look at the length of this. The length of this we have now is is about 9 inches. Now that means it is SS. Now the standard depth of a wet pocket is around 5 to 6 inches. So in this case, I'm going to use 6 inches. So I'm going to mark it out with my chalk. As you can see. Okay, so when I mark it out, now look at what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sewing it out. Now look at it. From here that I locked, look at how it works. From here that I locked, I'm going to be sewing from there. Okay, so from here that I actually locked, I'll be sewing from here. Now look at it. I will sew. When I sew, I take it down to the 6 inches, as you can see. Okay, then I now sew again like this. Okay, then I now turn in order to do reach out to this very part, as you can see. Okay, now look at it. Now I now finally lock it out here. Okay, so that means I've been able to do cover the pocket. So there's nothing else which I put in this pocket that is going to do fall out. So take your scissors and cut off the excess. If you like, you can weave it. If you like, you might also leave weaving it, because this lining is going to actually do cover it up. Okay, as you guys can see, look at the inside part. As you can see, now look at it. Now look at the front part. When you put your hand, everything is secure. Are you seeing it? Okay, so that is how to do your pocket. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay guys, as you can see, I am done doing the wet pocket on both sides. Okay, so next thing I'm going to be doing now, first of all, I'm going to keep this one side. I'll be doing I'll be coupling the back. Now look at it. I'll be coupling the back. Remember, the allowance that I used for my back was 1 inch. So I'll be closing it back with 1 inch. That is what I'll be doing. So like I said, the back allowance that I use there is back inch, so 1 inch. So I'm still going to be doing closing it out with 1 inch all through. Okay guys, as you can see, so I'll be sewing from here to here in order to close it up. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm done sewing out the back center. Okay, and I'm also going to do I'm also going to do open it and iron it out. The same thing I'm going to also do to the lining. Okay, so next thing I'll be doing is I'll also be using this back part in order to do impute my measurement. If you want, you can also use the front part, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using the back part to impute my measurement. Okay, so we are going to be using the back part to couple up our clothes. That is, we will be putting the body measurement on the back part, then we use it and couple the front part. Okay, so in order to do that, we start from here, measure out to the waistline, which is 17 inches, the bust line, which is 11 inches. Okay, and here is the hip line also. So what we are going to be doing is the round bust, which we use is 8 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. So mark out 9.5. While here, which is the round waist, which we use is 33 inches divided by 4 is 8.1/4. Make sure you mark out your 8.1/4. Okay, so right here the hip is 40 inches, which is 10 inches. Okay, then make sure you mark out your 10 inches. Okay, so after you are done, next thing you need to do is to do make sure you do combine all of them. Make sure you do connect all of them in order to form your the shape of your jacket. Okay, so after you are done, next thing you need to do is to do what? Make sure you duplicate it on the other side. So how do you duplicate? I have this simplest method which we use to do what? Duplicate measurement. So that is by doing what? Taking your pin. Are you seeing it? Taking your pin like this. Now look at it. Take your pin and then place like this. Okay, make sure everywhere is equal. Place it like this. Place it like this. Okay, so after you are done placing it like this, please make sure that all your connections are carefully done. Okay, please make sure that all your connections are carefully done. Okay, so after you are finished pinning it like this, this is to enable you to duplicate it on this side. So turning to this side, you'll be seeing all the word pins. So follow the same line and do what? Form your shape here. Follow the line and do what? Form your shape. Okay, so as you can see, we are done forming the shape here. As you can see. So next thing we are going to be doing is what? Please, we're going to make sure you do the same thing on the what? The lining. Then after that, you now use this particular one to couple the what? The front part. So how are you going to do that? Okay, so let's say you expand this particular one. Take one part of your front. Are you seeing it? Take the front part. Now place it like this. When you place it like this, first of all, you're going to do what to it? You're going to sew to this side to couple it. Also, do the same thing to this particular part. Now look at it. Place this one like this, and you're also going to do what? Couple this very part. Do you understand? Please, this is exactly the same thing you do to your what? Lining. So let me go and do the sewing. So guys, as you can see, we're almost done with the what? The jacket. Now look at this is the front. As you can see, I've actually joined the what? These two sides. As you can see this side, and as you can see this side. Now I want you to notice something. I joined the material separate, the original material separate, and I am also joining the what? I also joined the what? The lining separate. Now look at the lining. As you can see, look at this side. I joined it separate. Are you seeing it? I also joined this particular side separate. Now I'm not going to do what? Turn. Do you understand? I'm going to use the lining to turn with the what? Material. So I'm going to place it. But before we do that, there's something I want us to do. Okay, let me show us. There's something I really want us to do. Okay guys, like I said, before we do what? Turn with the lining. First off, are you seeing this particular side? Okay, see this particular side. We are going to first of all join it like this. Are you seeing it? Look at it now. We are going to first of all join it like this. Now, you don't just join it. You join with what? Measurement. Now, what do I mean by measurement? From here to here, what we use as our neck width was what? 3 inches. That is when you expand it, should be what? 6 inches. Okay, it's just like the same thing here. Now, when I turn it, now look at what I mean. From here down to this particular point should be what? 3 inches. Are you seeing it? So it means that we'll be locking using this particular thing. Now look at it now. Look at what I mean. We are going to lock this very part. Are you seeing it? And we also do the same thing on the what? Lining. I've coupled this very particular part, and I also done the same thing on the lining. So the next thing we are going to do, as you can see, look at it now. The next thing we are going to do is to do what? Take this part. Are you seeing it? Connect both of them together. Please make sure that the distance from here to here and distance from here to here is equal. Do you understand? If it is not equal, you can adjust this from this particular place. Okay, now place it like this. Are you seeing it? I see you seeing it. Now, so from here, from the center, now look at it. Down to this very part. Are you seeing it? Then down to the what? To the shoulder. Can you see it? Okay, so do the same thing here. So from here, please, you can use 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. Down to this very part, then down to the what? Shoulder. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same thing on the lining. Then after we have finished doing that, that is when we are going to do what? Place the material with the lining and do what? Sew round. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm done what? Sewing it. Now look at it. I first had to do what? Close this particular part. Are you seeing it? Then I now had to do what? Close it like this. Now look at the inside. Are you seeing it? I close this particular part. Then I now have to do what? Join it from here down to the what? Shoulder. Okay, this is the same thing I did on the line. Like I told you guys, I'll be sewing with the one I call interlocking. That is inner sewing. Do you understand? You're not going to see any stitch from the what? Outside part. Okay, now look at it. So next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be turning the lining with what? The material. So if you want to do that, this is how you do it. Now look at it. Place this one like this. Okay. Okay, now look at it. Place this one like this. After you're done placing it like this, next thing you're going to do is what? Take your lining and also place it like this. please make sure that the darts rhyme each other. Do you understand? Make sure that the darts rhyme each other. So you use your hand and do what? Position it very, very well. Also, you need to be working with your what? You need to be working with your pin. Okay, so now look at it. Let me be working with my pin. Use your pin and what? Pin it together. Okay guys, now that I am done pinning, means that everything is equal. What I'm going to do is what? I'm going to sew round. Do you understand? I'm going to be sewing with what? 1/2 inch direct. Yeah. Okay guys, there are some secrets which I want to be showing on. There are some tips which I want to be showing on. Number one is that as you want to start sewing it, please don't start sewing from the what? The lining side. Do you understand? Start sewing from the what? The material side. Like let the materials, let the real material side be facing you, not the what? The lining. This is to enable this particular part that is not relaxed to be what? Relaxed while sewing from here. Okay, then another thing is what? As I'll be sewing with my what? Hemming gun. This is to enable you that after you finish sewing it, when you are ironing it, it will be able to do what? Lap very well at the what? Base part. Okay, so like I say, sew with what? 1/2 inch all through. Okay guys, as you can see we are done. So I'm going to do what? Open it out from the what? The armhole. After I finish opening it out, first of all I need to remove the what? All the pins. Then I open out from the what? The armhole. Which after I'm done doing that, I now go to my ironing table and do what? Iron it out. Okay guys, as you can see we are done with the what? As you can see we are done with the jacket. Look at it, it is neatly done. As you can see, this is the what? These are the what? Wet pockets. So this is the what? The lapel. As you can see, it is just so gorgeous. The combination is beautiful. It's fine. Okay guys, so the only thing remaining on this, which I know you guys know how to do, is to do what? To fix your sleeve. So I believe you guys to do that particular one, but if you still insist you want me to teach you guys how to put the sleeve, please make sure you comment in the comment section below. But before you do that, make sure you give us a thumbs up. If you actually love this one that we just actually showed you now, make sure you give us a what? A thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to our channel if you are new to this particular channel. So like I was saying, if you see what I'm using a molded button. So beautiful. When you put it like this, it's so fine. Okay, now looking at the inside, as you can see the pattern of sewing that I used, look at the inside part. Everything is neatly done. As you can see, you're not seeing any stitch. Yeah, me I call it inner stitching or what? Interlocking. That is what we use on what? Jacket. So if you want to fix your sleeve in that manner, inner locking or what? Interlocking or inner stitching, you can as well do that. But if you are sewing for a customer and you think that there might be amendments on the site, that means you should just do what? Use the normal way of stitching the what? Your sleeve and what? Put it. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you and may God bless you. I love you guys. I love you guys. I'll continue serving you guys so much. So take care of yourself. Good night.